The first requirement for having a good set of notes is you have to be ready to start taking them as soon as class starts. That means you get out your notebook, you turn to a blank page, you get out your pencil or your pen, and you have that ready to go as soon as class starts. First thing you do, always label the top of the page with the topic of the day and the day's date. This technique is going to help you, number one, find the page of notes or the section of notes that you need later when it's time to study. And number two, it's going to help you and your note-taking friends fill in gaps when one or the other person is absent because you have the date at the top. Okay, now class starts, and most teachers are going to have something up on the board as a visual guide for the lesson of the day. It might be a list like you see in this picture. It might be a PowerPoint. But the most important thing that you need to know about taking effective notes is you have to do more than just copy down lists and definitions and basics from the board, from the PowerPoint, etc. You need to be writing down subtleties, examples, questions and answers that come up during class discussion. Your notes need to record the experience of being in the class while your teacher teaches and not just be a snapshot of the visual aids. This, of course, means that you are going to be writing a lot, and you're going to be writing all period long. You will probably not have an opportunity to put your pen or your pencil down. So you're going to have to think in terms of speed and efficiency. This is a screen of suggested examples of abbreviations that you can use. Absolutely no reason to memorize this. You can create your own abbreviation and symbolic system that works for you, so long as your future self understands what you're putting down on the page. Once you overcome the temptation to write too little, you also have to make sure that you don't fall to the other side of the temptation spectrum, which is to write too much. You do not need a verbatim, word-for-word recording of everything that is said in class. You definitely do not need to be writing in full paragraphs. You want to think about the information that is being presented in class and apply some interpretation to it. Break it down, make choices about what is most important, and by no means should you ever create a page of notes that looks like this with 1,000 words crammed onto a single page. You want to spread things out, categorize them, and kind of analyze and arrange as you go. Let's take a look at a few examples of really good notes. Notice how on this page of notes, everything is spread out into different categories, and it is very, very legible. And of course, you can see the label and the date at the top as well. This sample of notes really emphasizes the spacing aspect. It is highly legible, very easy to look at, and the points are numbered. Number things and group things by all means as you go. Here is a whole collection of notes that are very neat, categorized, easy to read. And you'll also notice the color coding and highlighting, which of course is something that you might want to add later on. You might not be able to manage any kind of color coding and highlighting during the lecture. Now, if you can manage to get your color coding and your pleasingly aesthetic effect while you are taking notes, more power to you. That is also fantastic and makes your study process that much easier. Another option, and one that is highly recommended by a lot of teachers, is to go back and type up your notes. This gives you an opportunity to make them more aesthetic if you like that. It gives you an opportunity to do groupings and numberings that maybe you didn't notice were happening during class. It's also a time when you could drop in photographs and charts from other sources so that some of the things that maybe have been provided to you on a website or snapshots you took in the classroom can all be merged into one document instead of located in several different spots, which might make studying a little bit more complicated. If you love the idea of digitizing your notes and having them neatly typed, Google Docs does offer a series of note-taking templates, which can be very helpful. The final step of having a good set of notes is keeping them organized. Make sure all notes on the same topic are stored together, and I definitely recommend either printing out everything that's digital and adding that to your paper notes, or moving everything paper over into a digital storage system. Make sure each class notebook has a logical set of dividers for this purpose as needed. And pockets are great too, as long as you don't fall into the trap of shoving loose papers in the pocket all the time, so that you end up with a big mess that makes studying that much harder. If you can't find what you're looking for in under a minute, it's too messy. One more tip before you finalize your set of notes for studying, and that is to try and make some time to sit down with a study partner so that you can read notes out loud together from start to finish and fill in any gaps that either one of you might have from either an absence or a missing fact because you happen to be staring out the window for a moment. And now for a quick review. Number 1, walk into class and get yourself ready to take notes so that you don't miss anything. Number 2, start by labeling and dating the top of the page. 3 and 4, make sure that you are doing a lot more than just copying down lists and definitions from the visual aids, but doing a great deal less than writing down every single word the teacher says. You can keep your speed up with abbreviations. You can make the study process that much more effective by grouping and numbering like categories of information together. You can always go back and add color, retype, and even add in digital graphics. The next step is to organize everything into one central spot, and then get with a partner to read through everything and make sure that there aren't any gaps that need to be filled or perfected. The only thing left to do at this point is to study. So let's make that step number 10. And keep your eye out for an upcoming video that talks about how to approach your studying actively and effectively so that your excellent note-taking efforts actually pay off in the end.